Hi everyone. In our today lecture we are going to discuss the first approach to measure utility. As in our previous lectures we have already discussed in detail that what is utility, and we have discussed different types of utility, different concept of utility. And our today lecture we are going to discuss that what are the different methods to measure utility. The first method to measure utility is called Cardinal approach. This method was introduced by Alfred Marshall, and that's why it is also called Marshallian approach to measure utility. In this approach we will discuss the law of diminishing marginal utility. The law of diminishing marginal utility states that other things remaining the same are ceteris paribus. When you continuously uses a good, it gives less and less satisfaction till it reaches to zero and then becomes negative. As you know that before making any law or any theory in economics, we have to make certain kind of assumptions, or we have to take certain things as constant. We sometimes call them ceteris paribus. Okay. Without making any assumptions, we cannot predict any law in economics. So other thing remaining the same means that there is no change any other factors, and when we continuously use a good, it will give us less and less satisfaction, and then it will become zero. And if we still continue to use that product after that point, then utility will becomes negative. What are the different assumptions of this law? The first assumption is that homogeneous product. What is meant by a homogeneous product? It means that the unit which we used at first time, we have to use the similar unit for the second time and for the third time, and then for the fourth time and up to so on. It will not change how many units we have consumed. So homogeneous product means the commodity or the unit which we used at first time, we have to use the same number of units for the second, third and up to so on. And the second assumption is the suitable quantity. Suitable quantity means that the number of units which we are using, that must be suitable. For example, we have not drink whole the bottle in a single unit or in a single time, or we do not have to use very small number of units, otherwise our law will not become true. The third assumption is utility is cardinal. Utility is cardinal means that we measure utility in numbers form like 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth assumption, which is the most important assumption, and that is continuous use of the product. We have to use the product continuously. If we are using a one glass in the morning, then the second glass in evening and the fourth glass in night, so the glass which we have used in morning, it has its own advantage, and the glass which we have used in daytime, it has its own advantage, and the glass which we have used in evening, it has own advantage. So in this way this law will become not true. So for the true occurrence of this law, we have to use that commodity continuously. We have to use after one by one any unit of good. The fifth assumption is that no change in taste. No change in taste means that if we used first glass of simple water, then it must be the same glass of water for the second time. We are not drinking any kind of Coke or Pepsi or some other kind of drink. So there is no change of taste. And the last assumption is that no change in mental level. It means that there is no change in the behavior of the consumer. For example, if a doctor said to anyone that if you drink more water, it will be helpful for you. So in this way, this law will not hold. Sometimes people are facing kidney problems and doctor suggests them that the more the water you intake, it will be more beneficial for you. So in this way, when a person is continuously using more number of unit of water, it will give him or her more level of satisfaction, or his utility will increases. So there will be no change in mental level. So these are the assumption of this law. As you can see that we have a table here. The table shows that a particular person is taking 6 glass of water, and against these 6 glass of water his total utility and marginal utility is given. When the person is not taking any glass, his total utility and marginal utility is 0. When any person is or has taken first glass, it will give him or her 8 unit of utility, and the second and when he takes second glass of water, his utility will become 14, and when he will take third unit of glass, his total utility will become 18, and up to so on. So how can we take marginal utility? As we discussed earlier, that the marginal utility shows the utility which we have by using one extra unit of any good. As you can see that when a person uses first glass of water, his total utility is 8, and when he takes second glass of water, his utility will become 14. 8 utility he has already. So what is the change by using second number of unit, that is 6. 14 minus 8 equals to 6. So the second glass give him or her 6 unit of utility. So when he uses third unit of glass, the total utility will become 18, but he have already 14 utils. Okay, so what is the benefit of using third glass, that is 4? How can we are saying this? We are saying this because 18 minus 14 equals to 4, and similarly goes on up to this point. When he uses fifth glass, his total utility is 20 and his marginal utility is 0, because 20 minus 20 equals to 0. So at this point his total utility is at maximum point, and when he still continues to use this good, after this point his utility will become negative. So now let's discuss all these in a graph. As you can see that here on y-axis we have taken total utility, and on x-axis we have mentioned the number of units consumed. So we just have plot all the utility here and number of units here, and we just joined the all of these points and we have the total utility graph. And in this graph we have marginal utility on y-axis and total and number of unit consumed on x-axis. As you can see in this table that marginal utility is decreasing from 8, 6, 4 to 0, minus 2. So it means that this curve will be negative slope. As you can see that we have make here a negative slope marginal utility curve. At this point marginal utility is 0, and when marginal utility is 0, at that point total utility is at maximum point. So what is the relationship between marginal utility and total utility? The first relation is that they both start from the same point. And second is that when marginal utility is 0, at that point total utility is always at maximum point. And the third relationship is that when marginal utility becomes negative, then total utility start to decreases.